Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So we've had 3 of our 4 run today so far. We started off in good style with Give Me 5, really weak in the market, going off 9-2 and winning. 2 disappointing results since with Gerbat and Lemilos, especially after Lemilos was so well supported into 9-2, second favourite I think. Didn't run a very good race in a race that was a bit crazy with lots of incidences happening. Tomorrow, there are some good races at Cork, Fairyhouse, if it goes ahead, Plumpton, and I've got some selections in some of the races, but they are price dependent, but I do wonder whether some of these might actually be priced up wrong. So that's why I'm going to talk about them, and we'll keep an eye out for the market, and if they are about the price I'm looking for, then I'll have a bet. If they're too short, then I will leave them alone. Starting off looking at the 142, the Bar 1 Racing Hurdle, where King of Kingsfield is finally running a race that he can win. If you follow my videos, you'll remember I put this horse up for the County Hurdle. Really liked him for the County Hurdle. Last year he actually ran in the County Hurdle, went off 4-1. Didn't run great, only beat a few home, but I think had been... that just wasn't his day on that really heavy going. Back on better going, I was looking forward to him running hopefully in the County. They didn't, they ran him in the Champion Hurdle as a pacemaker for Brighter Days Ahead, and that didn't work. For Brighter Days Ahead, and King of Kingsfield went off 200-1 that day. If we go back to like the beginning of the season though, his second to Brighter Days Ahead in front of Daddy Longlegs in the Bottle Green Hurdle, the Grade 3 at Down Royal, that was very good form. Even the second to Down Memory Lane would be good enough to win this, beating Nürburgring that day in a beginner's chase. Then went to Leopardstown, dropped back over hurdles, and again was used as a pacemaker, went miles clear and faded. Now, went off 200-1 last time out in the Champion Hurdle. This is significantly easier. But I'm hoping that people look at its form figures and go, 5 and 5, beating 30 lengths and 38 lengths. And they don't give it as good a chance as it has. At the weights, it should win. On official weights, it is getting £2 from King of Kingsfield. Well, they're carrying the same weight. They're carrying the same weight as Phil's Dudery. But it's £2 better rated, higher rated on a... official ratings. Phil's Dudery also is a 10-year-old, and I don't think he's the horse he was. I was looking for that horse in a handicap as well, Phil's Dudery, and it did turn up in a handicap. It ran at Cheltenham. He ran at Cheltenham in the County Hurdle, finished 12th though. Only beaten 8 lengths, but did finish 12th. And I kind of feel that that's probably his level of ability now. He's on the downgrade. King of Kingsfield, I don't think is. And if it had been running in a handicap, King of Kingsfield, I would have said, I like him off his mark of 144. I think he can go very close. Whereas Phil's Dudery has had a go in a handicap off 145 and wasn't good enough. The others are significantly wrong at the weights. Gigaro is £6 wrong. Intelletto is just loads wrong. Trying to do 9 and 5, £14 wrong. Smooth Tom way down south, they're even more, and Dragon of Malta just should not be good enough, to be honest, to compete in this sort of race. Considering it went off 200-1 last time, I honestly don't think, I think anything above even money here, and I'd be quite happy with that on King of Kingsfield. It's not the biggest of prices, but I think it's going to have a massive chance of winning here, and yeah, it doesn't really need to do a lot. Just sit at the front and nothing. I don't think anything will come past. Danny Gilligan could get an easy ride from the front. And yeah, as I said, if it's even money or bigger, then I'll be having a bet on King of Kingsfield. Let's just have a quick look to see if there is any market yet. You can see there's not a market yet. Let's just load it up again, just double check. No market yet. Moving on to the 152 at Fairyhouse. Now this is a race that I can't ignore the horse, because I'll be gutted if it goes and wins, especially at the prices. And that is No Flies on Him, who's been initially opened at 11s. Now, I think No Flies on Him is better than his handicap mark. I think he's better than his handicap mark of 130. The negative about No Flies on Him, I do think he wants 2.5 miles. It didn't work last time out when they did step up to 2.5 mile. That did come on heavy going though. I think it was a combination of both of those. Well, I think it was more the ground, the heavy going that cost him or that meant he didn't run his race. And also the way the race was run, it was very spread out from an early stage. I kind of feel that was why he disappointed, rather than the distance. However, if Mark has come back in and said, well, we didn't stay 2.5, we need to go back to 2, and we can actually try back over 2 in a handicap, which I'm sure they're going to be trying in, now is probably the time to catch him. We know he's a horse that has been, I think he's been called in, not the horse, but the trainer and owner have been called in, and the jockey have been called into the stewards a couple of times for this horse. He's been given very quiet rides, but his third behind Jeannot Lapin and What's Up Darling was a good race, and that was one of the times he got called in at 50-1. That's kind of what we might see here. Held up out the back, running on strongly, and hopefully Mark's getting after him plenty early enough that he can run on into a good position here. The better ground, the soft heavy, isn't quite going to be as heavy, I don't feel, as it was last time out. And if he doesn't stay because it was 2.5 on heavy, maybe he will stay on 2 mile heavy. That's if it goes ahead. Obviously, Fairyhouse is not guaranteed to go ahead because they watered and then it rained and then they had standing water. But yeah, I'm more hoping that the 2.5 and heavy meant it was too far for No Flies on Him, rather than it being the heavy going that definitely cost him. Or I'm not totally sure it was the trip that cost him. I think 2.5 on good or 2 mile on soft heavy will be absolutely fine for No Flies on Him. Currently available at 11s is the opening price. We'll keep an eye out for others, but I imagine that's the sort of price we'll get. As you can see, it's quite an open race, 6-1 favourite. So hopefully No Flies on Him does have a good chance here. Sticking at Fairyhouse, we move on to the Grade 1. The Willow Warm Gold Cup, which is a Grade 1 apparently. That is an awful Grade 1. Absolutely awful Grade 1. The highest official rated horse is Il Atlantique off 153. I think Champ Kylie wins this. Paul Townend's picked the right horse here. This 2.5 mile trip is ideal. He is just good enough to win these types of races. If you took on the real classy 2.5 milers, he wouldn't have a chance. But he's not. He's taking on the second rate 2.5 milers here. I don't think any of these are going to be good enough to beat Champ Kylie. Let's have a look at what price they've just opened up at. Yeah, I was thinking 6-4 off the top of my head. 15-8 is, I think that's fine. I think he'll take all of the beating, to be honest. Paul Townend's picked him. He can go forward and he can just ride him gently, sort of thing. And yeah, I don't think Il Atlantique. I think he actually wants 2 mile, not 2.5 mile. I think he's better over 2. And I just don't think the others are good enough, to be honest. Yeah, so that is my selection. Champ Kylie at 15-8. I'm quite happy with that one. Sticking in Ireland, we go to Cork. For the 247. I hope that's not racist by saying it like that. 247, and we're back in a horse that is another one of these. I can't leave it alone. Let's have a look. I think we'll get a decent price about this one as well, to be honest. And that is the Enabler. Now, I clocked the Enabler when he was finishing second behind Jasmine DeVoe at Navan. That form obviously had a bit of a frank with Jasmine DeVoe winning the Albert Bartlett. Work Ahead did let it down a little bit in the Supreme Novice, but that was not Work Ahead's best performance at all. He'll be much better than that. And you know, Work Ahead had previously beaten William Money, who then went on to finish second in the Supreme. Yeah, I think that was just a one-off from Work Ahead, and he'll bounce back next time. So if we go back to that run where Work Ahead was behind the Enabler, Jasmine DeVoe was winning the race, that probably was a very good novice hurdle. Since then, they stepped him up to 2.5, the Enabler, and he won a maiden hurdle. They then dropped him to 2 mile for a handicap, and I felt that was a sighter. They were looking to find out which race he needed to run him at the Cheltenham Festival. Was it the County? Was it the Martin Pipe? Was it the Coral Cup? And they ended up going for the Martin Pipe, which Gordon won anyway, with Woodhoo, who was probably ridiculously well handicapped. She travelled beautifully throughout the race. The Enabler ran well for a long way before getting a little bit tired towards the finish, and finishing 16th of 24. Tomorrow's race is not a Martin Pipe. This is significantly easier than the Martin Pipe. Danny Gilligan booked to ride. I think he'll ride the Enabler relatively prominently, and he'll demonstrate how good he is and how well handicapped he is. He'll run. I hope he runs to his first time out effort, or first time over 2 mile this season, when he took on. It wasn't even this season. It was the second time over 2 mile when he was taking on Jasmine Devoe and Work Ahead. That was the correct form, in my opinion. That's his true ability. If he runs to that, he should take all of the beating here. It's not quite as far over 2 mile 3, which should be ideal, being for a horse that likes to go forward. What sort of price are we going to get about him? This is a strange one. This is a tricky one, to be honest. He went off 25 to the Martin Pipe and was a bit weak on the day. I'd honestly be looking at anything around 4, 5 to 1 here. I'm hoping that some of those that maybe have a little bit more better recent form, the likes of God of Thunder, and this one here, this one. I am not even going to try and pronounce that. That just looks like somebody smashed the keyboard. They've got a bit better recent form in terms of their numbers 1, 2, 2 here, and even Crack could be subject to a bit of a gamble, being that we don't really know his true handicap mark. So I'm hoping we can get about 4s or 5s about the Enabler, and that would be good enough for me to have a bet on him. Staying at Cork for the 357, we go to a Grade 3, and this is another really poor race. Phil Dorr pulled up last time out. Mr. Policeman has pulled up the last twice. The other two are rated 121 and 126. They should not be good enough. Asterion for Longes should be plenty good enough to win this, to be honest. It's back at Cork. It's over the 3 mile trip that he's won over before. His runs over fences have actually been pretty good. He was last seen running over fences. I'm just having a look on my other screen. The last time he ran over fences, he was winning a Grade 3 at Cork. It might have even been this one. The Bar 1 on the 31st of March. No, not this one. He won a 2-runner affair. Went off 4 to 1 on that day. He does have some decent form over fences, though. Where is his other? 7th in a Gold Cup. That wasn't a bad effort. 4th in an Irish Gold Cup, beaten 12 and a bit lengths when sent off the 5 to 2 favourite by beaten, but that day by Conflated, Manila Indo, and Janadil. There's none of those types of horses in this. Asterion for Longe might be 11, but he really should be winning this. He's a short price, or he's going to be a short price, I'm sure. Let's have a look, see if we can get. Where is he? Oh, it's Cork, isn't it? Cork. The 357. Do we have any odds for it? Not yet. Anything above even money, I think, is a fair price for Asterion for Longe. At least he's come back recently and ran an okay race when finishing second to Hewick over hurdles. Second, beat Kilcruit, beat Amorite. That should be good enough to win this race, to be honest. Anything above evens. If we can get similar sort of prices, we may end up putting the likes of King of Kingsfield and Asterion for Longe in a little double as well. Moving on to Plumpton, to the feature race of the day, this Sussex Champion Hurdle, and you would imagine this is going to be out of Willie Mullins and Dan Skelton again. And it's trying to find which one is the right horse. Willie's he's sent over 4, but he's only sent over 1 that looks to have a really good chance. That's Absurd, who was finishing 3rd last time out in the County Hurdle. Very good run. Just wonder about the way he runs, whether he might get caught for a bit of toe on this good ground. Whereas Knickerbocker Glory, who's going to be right at the front, could be the one that kicks away and gets away from them. And whilst Absurd is finishing strongly, he's not finishing strong enough, and Harry's given him a overconfident ride. Unlike even in the Scottish National last week when Captain Cody won, the horse slightly came back to him after the last. Knickerbocker Glory, I don't think will come back to these horses. On this good ground, he will go to the front, he'll make all the running, or try and make all of the running, and I think he will take all of the beating here, to be honest. I know he disappointed in this race last year. It didn't work that day. I kind of feel the cheek pieces probably didn't help. Tristan was on that day as well. You know, this is their number one in the race with Harry on board. They probably think he's their best chance in terms of who's our 2 mile hurdler we've got, and they've gone with Knickerbocker Glory. She's a Saint looks very unexposed for the Skeltons, but Harry chose not to ride that. He's gone for the proven 2 miler in Knickerbocker Glory, and I'm happy with that, and I hope that Knickerbocker Glory is the right one for the Skeltons tomorrow. Let's have a look at what the price is currently. We can see he's available at 9s, 8, 9, 8.5, about 8.5. 8.5, there's a couple of 8.5s there, there's 3 there. So he's available at 8.5 to 1, Knickerbocker Glory 17 to 2. He's the one that I want to take on Absurd with. And finally, one more race that I do want to have a look at is the 440. This is all about what price do they price it up at. The horse Shake Ya Tail Feather for the Skeltons is going to take all of the beating tomorrow. It could be one that we end up putting in multiples with Asterion Volange, King of Kingsfield, and maybe Champ Kylie. They could be a little 3 or 4 in a bet there, that depending on the prices of the other horses. If you can get anything above like even money about Shake Your Tail Feather, I think this horse, I think Shake Your Tail Feather wins. Shake Your Tail Feather was actually beating 2 horses last time out that are actually got official ratings of 119. Something Special and Lime Drop, both officially rated 119. Tomorrow's best rival is supposedly only rated 112. The rest are significantly lower. And yeah, Shake Your Tail Feather should be winning this quite cosily and comfortably for the Skeltons. They brought it back out quickly. It was only 3 days ago that Shake Your Tail Feather was winning. They know it had no race there and it shouldn't get a race tomorrow at Plumpton. And that $8,000 in prize money could be very important for the Skeltons. So there's a few for tomorrow. Hopefully our last one can run a bit better at Musselburgh that we've got running shortly. And they're my selections for tomorrow. King of Kingsfield, no flies on him. Champ Kylie, the Enabler, Asterion Volange, Knickerbocker Glory, and Shake Your Tail Feather.